Hello One Piece players! My name is Kristian and welcome to a new segment on this channel called One Piece Essentials. Here we will cover various topics which are, well, essential to the gameplay of One Piece TCG. Do not, however, misinterpret this essential part to mean basic, i.e. some things which good players already know and is well understood. No, quite to the contrary. And I know this from experience. Even the good players misunderstand these concepts because quite a few of them are counterintuitive. First such example, and the topic of today's video, is searchers and unsearchable cards. For example, what does running Garp and Brothers Bond mean for our probability of drawing Moria in Black Hole Luffy? I do have a master's in math and computer science, but you don't need any of that to follow what I'm about to say here. And well, to get to the bottom of it, I invite you to join me at my playmat. What we have in front of us is my good old faithful Black Hole Luffy deck. We're not interested in this, we're interested in this. This is a 50 card One Piece deck. We do one very important action before we start any game of One Piece. We take these cards and we shuffle them. Okay, let's say this is relatively shuffled. Okay, with this arcane technique, we transmuted those 50 cards into something a bit magical. We call this entity a randomized deck. What does randomized mean? Well, that means that, in a way, every single one of these cards is, well, a random out of any of the possible cards, right? For the purposes of our example, I'm going to ask you a question. Consider this card. What are the chances of this card being Moria? You don't have to give me a percentage, but what about this one? What about this one? Hell, what about all of these cards? What are the chances of them being Moria? And the answer is quite obvious. They all have the same chance of being Moria. They're all equal, they're all interchangeable, they're all, and once again the magic word, they're all random. Okay, so every single card, there's no hierarchy. Every single card is the same in relation to each other. They all have the same chance of being Moria. In a way, Moria is permeating through all of this. That's maybe going too far with the analogy. Anyways, every single card has the same chance of being Moria. What does that practically mean? Let's say our chances of drawing Moria are X. How does that percentage change if we somehow manipulate the deck? Let's say before drawing, we shuffle the deck. Once again. Okay. What are the chances of drawing Moria now? Well, the answer is the chances are the same. All of these cards equally have the same chance of being Moria. What if we cut the deck? What about now? Well, all these cards are the same, so they all have the same chance of being Moria. Meaning, any kind of manipulation we can do on this randomized deck of 50 cards will not change our percentages of seeing Moria. And here's the pièce de la résistance. Let's take 5 cards from the top of the deck and put it on the bottom. This is definitely a kind of manipulation of the deck, right? Did we change our chances of drawing Moria? Well, no. All of these cards have the same chance of being Moria. Those 5 cards on the bottom are in no way special to the new 5 cards on the top. All these cards are the same. They're all random. Okay. But what if we now take a look at those 5 cards we put on the bottom? Does that change anything? Well, essentially no. The action was the same. We took 5 random cards from the top and we place them on the bottom. The fact that we can now take a look at the 5 cards on the bottom doesn't change anything. We are just given information. We just now know what cards are on the bottom. So any kind of deck manipulation doesn't change anything. So in a way, you can translate all the searchers to, well, take a look at the 5 cards on the bottom of your deck, and then choose one, whatever, white pirate card, and take it to your hand. The fact that you maybe see Moria in one of these 5 cards is a Jedi mind trick, is something emotional, is something not real. We already discussed, and I hope it's very relevant, that no way that we manipulate this deck changes the odds. And looking at the cards you manipulated does not change the fundamental action. Sure, now that you look at the cards, you know how things changed, but that's information that you were given after the fact. And that's the cool part. Searching only gives you information, essentially letting you peek at the bottom of your deck, because manipulating the deck does not change the fundamental nature of the deck. And I spent some time as a math professor, so I can already sense a question in the audience. But Kristian, wait, what if we already resolved one of the searches and we know that the bottom 4 cards are not Moria? Well, there's a Moria. Let's say these 4 are not Moria. Well, the answer is still the same. Check these 4 cards. This is now a 45 card deck. And the only way you manipulate it, shuffle it, take cards from the top and to the bottom, does not change your odds of seeing Moria. You maybe saw one Moria in the bottom of the deck. Well, now you know, okay, Moria is on the bottom. That's a possibility that's always possible in a random deck. Now you have that information. But now this is a deck with 3 Morias, and they're all equally here. So this is now a 45 card deck with 3 Morias. Does taking cards from the top and putting them to the bottom change anything? Well, no. In other words, once again, and I think this is the most intuitive way you can think about this, searchers manipulate the deck in a random way, in a way that does not change the odds. But they do give you information. They give you information about the bottom cards from your deck. And that is always valuable. Not only that, the searchers also provide you various other consistency benefits, especially in Black Yellow. I think this concept of how searchers interact with unsearchable cards tell us more about human nature than actually card games or probability. Because humans are notoriously bad at intuitively understanding probability and its sibling statistics. And to top it all off, we are emotional creatures, meaning that if you're presented an event which you didn't have influence over, but the way it's presented to you emotionally signals to you that you are responsible for it, leads you to make a wrong conclusion, which is what's happening here. Now, let me try to illustrate this with an even funnier concept, which, if you think about it, is actually the same thing that's happening with the searches. Let's say we have a card which shuffles your deck. Okay, so you have your deck, your chances of drawing a specific card, let's say Moria, is X. And we started the game. You can shuffle the deck again, right? Did your chances of seeing that specific card change? No, of course not. But what if we change that card to say, peek at the top card of your deck, then shuffle your deck? Does it change anything? No, shuffling the deck does not change the odds. However, if you see Moria on the top, you're gonna be like, oh, I lowered my chance of seeing Moria. No, of course you didn't. The act of shuffling the deck does not change anything. However, information is presented in an emotional way, where you can see what would have been, right? And then you feel responsible that you are doing something which is actually irrelevant. Because the way we perceive information is totally whack. And this is what happens with the searches. The fact that you look at the top of 5 cards, take one, put it on the bottom, technically does not change, not technically, practically, does not change the odds of seeing more. And the beautiful thing is, not only does it not hose you, it gives you further information. It shows you the bottom 4 cards of the deck. So, in conclusion, eat your veggies, play your searches, and play smart. See you next time.